Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another movie review. And as you can see, it is a holiday special and it is kind of for Disney Plus, but it does surround the Guardians of the Galaxy. I have here another host that we've done another Disney feature film about some certain monsters. And now we got a different variations of monster in this one and a little bit of a bacon as well. So I'm going to introduce us. Here we go. What's up, people? We are
Hello.
here. What's up, Ronan?
Hi, what's up, Sam? Hello, TeamJVS, and all of you who watched the Guardians special. I'm gonna flat out say this. To me, this is my second favorite Guardians thing. It's the first movie, and then it's this, and then it's Volume Two.
Yeah, yeah. I'll say this openly, so you guys know. Guardians of the Galaxy One is to me still one of the best Marvel movies they've ever come out with.
Oh yeah,
It had everything. It had good comedy, great characters, and characters you've never seen before and made to life in such a way that you're like they're household names. You know,
yeah,
it's kind of like Iron Man. People knew who Iron Man was. People knew who Captain America was, but they didn't have their own feature film.
yeah,
We had nothing to go off of other than just a first picture, Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, and that's it. And you know, they made history with Guardians of the Galaxy. They later on, of course, came out with Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Mhm.
Um, some people like it, some people don't. I personally think that there are some great things about it. You know,
Yes.
things with Yondu, um,
Nebula.
things with Peter's history and who he
Yeah.
really is. Um, I did think that they kind of like went and dialed too much into the comedic side. It didn't work.
Yes.
They could have cemented some really essential things, but again, they did give her an amazing send off with Yandu that some kind of way allowed Sylvester Stallone to be in it as well. But now, like you said, Ronan, this is the holiday special. Brief synopsis of it. Um, we know that Gamora died, you know, and Peter is at a loss. And, you know, he's not outwardly showing it, but it's the Christmas times when he's normally talking about the legendary Kevin Bacon and cheering everybody else up. He
Yeah.
seems kind of down. And so Mantis and oh my gosh, I'm spacing on his name. Drax
Drax.
decide that they want to cheer him up by giving him the legendary person himself, and that is Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Real quick, so what are your first emotions coming out of this after finishing watching without spoiling anything, just your emotions coming out of it?
I didn't think this would happen, but and I don't know if you saw me, but I shed a tear. I should know. Actually, shed two tears. I cried, dude.
Oh,
This hit home, and again, very simple, minute stuff, and yet it hit me, dude. And I don't know, maybe it's because it's that time of the season, but it hit home. I laughed, although it comes off cringy and childlike. It is genuine. I kind of believe this would happen. The way Drax is now, whether you agree with the route they went with him or not,
mm,
uh, this is how he would interact if he and Mantis decide to go on a Christmas mission, if you will, mission
mhm.
save Christmas. And yeah, they are the highlights. I mean, it's nice to see Karen and Bradley Cooper and Sean Gunn back as Rocket and Nebula, and then we have uh, another character introduced into the Guardian squad, and we have also Buff Groot. But it's Mantis and Drax led, and whether all I say is that whether you might like jokes or not in it, everything that came out of their mouths and every intention they have for this story was out of pure love,
Yeah.
and that that oh, I love that photo. that bleeds out to everything, and you could feel it. You could feel it.
Yeah, I so this is the weird thing. Mantis as a character in the Guardians 2 movie, at first I was kind of like, she's really intriguing. And then they kind of made her really ditzy. And then it was kind of like, oh no, she's actually very capable. Like, her level of capability is kind of like untapped gem, so to speak.
Yeah,
And didn't really understand a lot of things about it, but they really kind of, to me, they missed the mark with that, and they kind of made her kind of a running joke, even going on to like Infinity War. It's kind of like they're not really utilizing her
to an
like that.
extent, I would think, because what she does when they try to tame Thanos, and you're like, she could do that and hold it for a while.
Hmm.
But yes, I would agree that like that Drax and Mantis became sort of the comedic relief, if you will, or the ones that like throw the jokes there. But
Yeah, they kind of use them kind of like as a prop to be the jokey one, and it's hard because you got Chris Pratt. That's naturally what he does. I mean, he could be very serious very moment, an action star the next, but generally he's a natural comedic person. So that's what made the Guardians of the Galaxy 1 so special, is that they were able to balance comedy every single interaction.
yeah,
And so when it came to the special, I really had low expectations. I didn't know if it'd be something that I would enjoy. I didn't know if it'd be something I even laugh at, to be honest with you, because I didn't have a good memory necessarily of the second one, but I knew the capabilities of the character. And I'm gonna say Mantis in this was great.
uh-huh, oh
Um,
yeah,
she, I feel like we finally get an understanding of her personality, like not just her being put in bondage, not just her being the tag along person or her being the random comedic punchline. They really utilize her because she's paired up with Drax. Drax is his own person. Like he
mm-hmm.
could care less. He wants what he wants, and he doesn't care about the ramifications of how he gets it. But he does have a good soul. Not necessarily all the times a good heart. And with her in this, there's a real motivation. There's something that she's trying to do, and there's a reason behind it, which we're not going to spoil it here, but it gives her more weight. It gives her more gravity, so to speak, to pull her towards the other Guardians. Whereas before, if you come off the second movie, it wasn't too much pulling her together other than her, getting off planet and them kind of taking her in. But with this, they're giving her a lot to do. Matter of fact, the actress is actually giving some really touching scenes. And I found that was very surprising. She's the highlight of this to me, and she saves it, dare I say, even more than Kevin Bacon. Even though we could talk about Kevin Bacon because he's pretty much throughout this whole entire 42-minute film. Kevin Bacon is still a legend, you guys. Like he lights up scenes. Like he is dynamic, he's energetic. It doesn't seem like he's just doing this for a paycheck. It seems like he's genuinely having a ball with it, which I don't know if he's got a good relationship with James Gunn or Chris Pratt or both, but it seems like he's all the way in it. I was curious your take on Kevin Bacon.
What's weird is that at first when the teaser dropped, I'm like, what are they gonna do with it? And then I'm like, perfect. This makes sense. This echo stuff, and it pays off, if you will. We don't need to pays off a lot of what where Peter comes from and where his motivations to like today we have an opportunity to do what to give a shit. And, the fact that comes all the way from again he talked about Footloose all the time, even Infinity War where they poked at it like that's that old movie from the 70s from the 80s.
Right.
And the fact that he comes through and yet you completely understand why he's he has different emotions at the beginning when he bumps into Drax and Mantis,
Right.
and also just the range. We're not gonna spoil stuff just yet, but there's moments where it's not just regular Kevin Bacon talking. He does some other stuff, and I was like, this is awesome. It's not just they're not just milking it for the fact that hey, it's this big star that it just so happens to be an idol of this character, and Yeah, I can't wait to talk spoiler stuff because this he was a gem and phenomenal, and it didn't feel weird that it's like the real world meets the MCU. None of that felt weird for me, at least. It didn't stand out that much because the story was genuinely touching. The story and the intentions and the meanings behind it was human.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I can agree with that. With Kevin, this is the weird thing. Like, I've been watching Kevin Bacon for a grip. I even looked at the show that Fox quickly canceled, even though it was great, in the show called The Following. Kevin Bacon, he can do range very well. I think that he also did Death Sentence. I think he did the remake for Death Sentence. Like he has range, but with this, it's very fascinating because they have him do a lot of different things, and at the end of it, at the core of it, they try to find a way in their own guardian way of hitting the core of what Christmas is really truly about. They do some interesting things also with the animation style. There's a
Oh
couple different
yeah,
moments that I think are very tender-hearted.
yes.
Um, and their use of characters and their use of the animation, I think it fits perfectly um for this group. Um, but yeah, so I think as a Christmas special, I think it was really good. Like, it's weird to say this, but I haven't really gotten behind any of the Christmas specials that Disney Plus has come out with, to be honest with you. Some of the Lego ones was like, those are okay, but I haven't really had one of the Disney Plus ones that I would actually even think to go to again. This one I would. I will
Oh
tell you
yeah.
guys, we're gassing this up, but it is very cheesy at times. Some jokes do not land. Some stuff kind of seems out of place and random. If you're not a musical fan necessarily, there are some musical numbers, not throughout, but there are a few. So I think that some people are gonna look at this as like, I could take it or leave it. But I think that if you have fun with this, like, and just take it for what it actually is, which is really much fun, this is not gonna like change the fabric of where the next phase is gonna be. It does add volumes to two specific characters that I think was really good for their relationship. But outside of that, it's really just kind of like throwaway fun.
It's
Um,
self-contained, and yet it, for me, like I said, where I'm ranking it, it tightens up the crew. You
it
care
does.
more about Mantis than ever, and it's not just someone that's just tag along that we met in another movie. She's family now. As much as the original, what was it, 5 or 6? The original, Groot,
Five,
Rocket,
yeah,
Drax, Gamora, and Star Lord. Like,
yep.
and then you got Nebula. Like, it's a tight group now, and I care so much about these people now more than ever. And what's to come with Volume 3, I don't know, but now I'm more worried than ever. That's all I'll just say. Like, now I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
like,
because this the interesting thing about this, without going too deep into spoilers or spoilers at all, is that if you've seen the Volume 3 trailer, you know that it's about going back to the past and seeing how things kind of began. Specifically for Rocket, which we know Rocket has a traumatizing past, and they're about to, take the band-aid off of that. The team as a whole are going to be in the most danger they probably ever been in, given certain people that are going to be in this. And then I think in this smaller special, they do add something of weight, that we could fear to lose. That's what I
oh
kind of
yeah,
say it.
oh yeah.
So yeah, yeah. If I had to give it a grade, or a rating, 1 to 10, probably 7.5 out of 10. I give it a 7 out of 10. The simple fact that I would watch a Guardians of the Galaxy special again on Disney Plus is saying something. Just for
Yeah.
context, I'm not knocking this. This, like, a 7 is a good grade. I came into this, like, if it wasn't for Ronan, I probably wouldn't even have been like, oh yeah, we should do this. Like, Ronan was like, you know what? It's Christmas time. Let's do it. Like, so I was like, all
Yeah.
right, yeah, let's do this. But Ronan, what
And
do you think? 1 out of 10.
I think my immediate gut things to say is 10 out of 10. Um, but I think 9 out of 10 is there, or 9 or 10 out of 10. I genuinely dug it. I think even the most cringy or cheesy parts, I went with it just because you know what, it's not just the sake for like a fart joke or for something like that. It's like, oh, they genuinely believe this is the right thing to do, or this is ethical, and
Ooh, I didn't say that there's some good action moments in this.
yeah.
I forgot about that. I didn't even bring that up.
And even just on a technical level, I was telling you this because besides Guardians 1 that I adore of James Gunn, to me, his second, or my either his second best movie or my favorite movie of his is the Suicide Squad. This is a
Mhm.
home run for me, and the fact that there's camera work that you see he learned or he adapted in Suicide Squad, he brings it into the special, and I dug it. I doubt that it didn't feel like every other MCU movie or any other similar one, or even the Werewolf by Night special.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say this, and this is, I don't want to start fire and people be like, "What do you mean?" I think Werewolf by Night and the Guardians Holiday special are the two best things of the MCU this year. I dug Ms. Marvel. I dug parts of She-Hulk. The movies, I had fun with them, but they're just not hitting all the way like they used to. Which is, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. But to me, these two specials felt fresh and felt like, I want to rewatch these immediately. Which I remember with Werewolf by Night, I immediately wanted to rewatch that instantly, and that's like Werewolf by Night now. That's a thing to watch during Halloween. The Guardians Holiday Special is gonna be another thing to add to watch during Christmas. It's gonna be Die Hard, It's a Wonderful Life, the Disney Nickelodeon Christmas episodes, or Hanukkah episodes, and then Guardians right there. Like it was that great, enjoyable, and man, if I could just tell you the spoilery stuff, this oh my gosh, this I had, it's so good. I'll put it to you this way: there was another MCU movie that came out this year. I had bought a Lego set prior to the release of the movie. I like Lego. It's a good therapeutic thing. I like to just get away from technology and just build the Lego. This one, I waited for the special. I'm like, oh, let's see what this popping up. Now I want to run to Target or somewhere and just get a Guardians Lego set of the holiday special. I want to do that now. That's how a heck of an impression it did this for me. And the soundtrack choices, I couldn't really point out, but so a couple of them sounded familiar, and I want to get the soundtrack now for the holiday special immediately and just listen to it right now. So,
Yeah,
well done, well done.
I think that what was good about this is this makes this it's put a good taste in my mouth going into volume 3. I think that's the best I can kind of give it. Because at the end of the day, I mean, in terms of giving me something authentic, I'll say this: the Werewolf by Night, that was something fresh and new. That, I mean, it didn't even have anything to do with Marvel. Like, it was just a good story, and I think
Yeah.
that's where attachment theory comes in with this, where we don't want to, what's the word? We don't want to kind of feel like we're exhausted from Marvel. We want to feel re-fulfilled, or giving us something of substance, so that it's like, oh, okay, cool, we're going somewhere. And that's kind of what I even said with Black Panther. There were things I felt were flawed with the film, things they could have done better. But for once, there's actual weight. It's not just jokes. There's actually consequences. And it's kind of like Werewolf by Night. It was like actually something of substance and weight. And with this one, it's like, okay, this is actually really fulfilling and sweet. Like, it's not just jokes for jokes. Like, no, there's a real reason for that. I think
Yeah.
what would be interesting is if you watch Infinity War, then Endgame, and then watch this. I think that'd be really good, because you'll understand why Peter is in the place that he's in. If somebody went and watched Thor 4 and then watched this, they'd be like, who
You
cares? You know
I'll
what I
say
mean?
this. I'm gonna say this. I'm not gonna say he has no lines. He has some lines, but not just as much as other of the actors. But
Mhm.
without him saying anything, I could tell the weight of the adventure of those two films. I could tell the weight and just the emptiness. There's a beautiful shot, sad shot of him just alone eating, and it's in the trailer. And I was like, that's what happens when you save the galaxy, the universe, and yet you scarred now. You're scarred now more even than Volume 2, because Volume 2 hits stuff from the past, but this was a rippling effect for the future. And then this was a good time to have peace and be like, you know what, I'm still standing, and there's still people that care about me, and I still care about them. So
yeah. We'll see. I'm curious what you guys think. Make sure you let us know in the comment section below. Definitely go and check out Ronan's channel. Ronan, where can everybody find you, man?
You could find me at Ronan Unchained. Where do I even go with social media now? I have Twitter, I have Instagram, same username, Ronan Unchained. But mostly I think right now just YouTube. I'm doing reactions, reviews. I'm working on something for Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Andor is about to or has concluded by now. And again, there's bright future for stuff to talk about with whether it be Star Wars, Marvel, or DC, or even just independent films and whatnot. And also, let me plug this out. Sorry if this sounds egoistic. We have a Bottles and Bricks podcast, which is a Last of Us podcast that me and Sam discuss, and we'll be diving deep into The Last of Us when the HBO show comes about. And I also have a Star Wars podcast called The Syndicate.
Yes, sir. Y'all ain't ready for what we're about to talk about with that. And a certain something's coming up on the horizon. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at that. We're gonna go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this holiday special. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. I will be right back, possibly with Ronan. We'll see. We're trying to figure it out. We're trying to see if we're gonna go and work with some chainsaws or something like that. Anyway, peace, people. Scrooge was way better than this. Just to let y'all know.
I want tamales. I want a tamale now. I want tamales, por favor, please.
Filing out the top of I can see the skyline, 50 mile radius on my timeline.